huge road win in Carolina last night, beating the Panthers 28-23 behind 3 touchdown passes from Carson Wentz. Philly extended their division lead and now have the NFC's best record at 5-1. The Panthers lost Luke Kuechly to a concussion in the first half, and Cam Newton struggled all night, throwing 3 interceptions. We're joined by 3-time Super Bowl champion Charlie Weis.
4, but that's okay.
My mistake. Well, you picked them.
Yeah, I picked them, but
with your heart.
But basically, I picked them because I was rooting for the AFC, in the NFC South. Yeah. But in reality, the comment that I made was really about turnovers. We're going to determine, and when you have 2 good teams, turnovers usually make the difference in the game, and that obviously was a fact last night. You know, when you throw 3 interceptions, regardless of whether they're tipped or regardless of what causes the interceptions, you know, that's usually going to be a difference maker in a close game, which the game was for most of the night. What we all learned yesterday, though, is Philadelphia's better on defense than everyone realized, and that with Fletcher Cox, you know, being back and being healthy, it made a difference in that front 4, because when you can just rush the front 4 and put pressure on the quarterback and can use your other 7 to cover, okay, that gives you a lot better chance.
For me, and everything you said, kudos to that. And I saw, and the Eagles started dialing up the pressure because they felt if they could get to Cam early, his accuracy would suffer late. But I don't really like the way Mike Shula called that game on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. You get the 4th down, the first down, and now you open your playbook back up. I don't know why, after his accuracy was suffering like it was, that you would not get the 1st down and just get 4 more sets of down to do this. So I didn't like the way he called the game. And I was telling Skip, early in the first quarter, they had a bomb blitz, which they brought everybody 0 coverage, and they throw an out route. Charlie, throw the goal, throw the post. You're anticipating this, because that's why you ran the out. You ran that call. You're anticipating this down and distance, this formation. 80% of the time, they're probably going to give you this blitz. You got to make them pay. And that's the thing. When you catch when you guess right, and you catch the defense and the play and the defense that you think, a big gain is not good enough. You need to gash him with a TD.
Well, let's talk about an out route versus blitz coverage, though. Okay, versus blitz coverage, if I'm a quarterback that I have is going to go throw an out route and he sees the corner and off coverage right now, okay, he's just going to go ahead and throw the out. Yeah. It becomes the quarterback's responsibility to change the route in that case, not the receiver's responsibility. Yeah, but because the quarterback sees everyone coming, right. You know, you'll see everyone, you know, nodding or tapping or something, which is telling that guy, go ahead and get gone, and we're not going to run that route anymore. Right. We're going to go for the home run right here. So you know, if versus off coverage, if the receiver's saying, hey, I got off coverage, I'm running the out. So there's got to be some kind of communication or some kind of check-off in that situation, or else the route is the route. Right.
He mad because the Cowboys.
This game just made me sick. I was just disgusted. I couldn't sleep. Hazel's mad at me. She's almost 1. Happy birthday, Hazel, my little Maltese. Because I said a couple of words I shouldn't have said.
Did you slam any doors?
I didn't slam the door. It wasn't that kind of game. I reserved door slams for Cowboys. But when Kuechly went down and out, I knew it was going to be a long night. Yeah. He is the driving force of that defense, just the way Sean Lee is of the Cowboy defense. And he plays such great, smart, shrewd operator pass defense that once you take him out of the middle of it, they just all look like a little lost. And to your point, if you're going to hand them the football at the 12, at year 12 and year 17, you're going to have a hard time. And kudos to Carson Wentz because he cashed both times. But Zach Ertz, we didn't even talk about him yesterday, but he came into this game leading all tight ends in catches and yards. We hear about Kelsey all the time. We hear about Gronk. We don't hear about him. You want to talk about a security blanket for a sophomore quarterback? Zach Ertz is that guy, and he caught 2 balls last night, and both went for touchdowns.
Well, there's about 3 things that both of you said that I agree with. one of the things that Carolina has to do is they have to run the ball more. I mean, you just can't depend on that running game. A couple of years ago, they were one of the best running teams in football.
They were number one.
And so I just don't understand how limited they are in the run. How limited they are in the running game.
4 backs total 9 yards.
And I agree with you on it. It's a third. You come up 3rd and 1. There's a clock running. There should be a no huddle run it play.
Yep.
Everyone has it. Either hand it off to the back or run it yourself.
Quarterback sneak, correct.
Okay, but one or the other. With that guy, I'd keep the ball and go ahead and run it myself.
Correct.
But the clock's running. Okay, not that the clock was really an issue at that time.
Because you're already at the 48.
But now when you put yourself in that fourth down situation, now there's a time. It's an incomplete pass. Or you got your incomplete pass. You got time to regroup on defense. You got time to get set up. I mean, now it's you have to make that play. Now, the chances are of converting at 4th and 1 are okay, but you were throwing the ball. Okay, 2 out of 3 things that could happen are bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the chances you take.
So I could not believe that Carolina team just beat Brady at Brady and Stafford at Stafford. I'm looking at it saying, you can't run a lick except for your quarterback, who can really make some big plays with his legs. And he made 2 sensational plays with his legs. But the quarterback, who was so deadly accurate, especially in the clutch at Foxborough and in Detroit, lost his accuracy and his way in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, but there's one big difference, Skip, and it's pressure. New England hardly put any pressure on a quarterback the whole night.
Detroit can some.
And I'm not talking about how many guys you rush. I'm talking about pressure. That quarterback felt it last night. When you watched the game last night, you could feel the pocket collapsing on Cam. And there were times where he didn't step up in the pocket. Some of those, he had a lot of inaccurate throws last night. Well, some of those inaccurate throws are because when you can't step up in the pocket and go through your motion, you can't go ahead and get it. Some of them were just him.
Right.
But others are where that pocket is collapsing against New England. He didn't feel that pressure. He could sit in there. He could sit in there and go ahead and make some throws. And it's a big difference as far as accuracy goes when you have time.
And you got to be really unlucky. Think about it, Skip. The guy that intercepts the ball that carries out to Jonathan Stewart, he's guarding the receiver. He spins around and the ball.
So unfair.
I mean,
Jonathan Stewart can't just muff it right through his hands.
Yeah.
It's the Terrence Williams play against.
And Cam is always going to struggle with his accuracy because he throws a lot off his back foot. He doesn't. If you watch Cam, watch how many times he throws off that back foot and not drive the ball like, say, a Brady or Rodgers or some of these guys that are more accurate. He's always going to struggle with that. But Cam is going to have to find a way, Skip. He can't be at the bottom or at the top. He's going to have to find a middle ground. Because what we've seen for him, he plays great or he plays awful.
Yeah. And the one thing they really got to be concerned with is Luke. Now this is, I mean, you really got to be concerned with now. And today's football, you really got to consider about whether or not he should be playing.
Yeah.
In the olden days, it's okay, get back in there.
Right.
But we're much more further along and evolved on the concussion and the study of that. And when it keeps on recurring, there's a message to you.
There's a message.
Hey, look, I'm not putting an end to Luke. I'm just saying you got to be concerned for a guy when it keeps on recurring. When we're all cognizant of the issues you have with
and they're starting to happen without big collisions. We're starting to see little nicks, and all of a sudden, Skip is taking him out of a ball game. We understand the Devontae Adams hit. Okay, we can understand. But now you see he slipped and got a knee.
Okay, one last point, and you can say I'm overreacting, I'm being unfair, but I said this and I dug in on this before the draft. Christian McCaffrey at this level is not a difference maker. He's a nice player. He's a great kid. You knew him when he was a little kid because you played with his father in Denver. I get all that. But if you try to run in between the tackles, and they tried 4 times last night, he's not big enough and strong enough and sudden enough to do what Kareem Hunt does. And he catches little balls on the outside. He caught a 1-yard touchdown pass. He had 14 targets last night and caught 10 balls. That's a lot of balls, but for 56 total yards, and they didn't have impact on the game.
I think it's going to come down to offensive scheme with Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Because I took a look at Christian McCaffrey and I said, put him in New England. Haven't been one of those guys.
Okay.
Haven't been the guy
One
who
of
put
those
in New
guys?
England's offense years ago. I said, okay, bring this baby on.
As a slot receiver.
Because as everything. I mean, it all depends on how you utilize the guy. Because I look at that guy as a Pro Bowl type of guy in what New England does.
Well, James White is better at what he's doing than Christian is.
James
so
White
far.
get put in situations that utilize what he does, and that's my problem with Mike Shula. He's going to have to do a better job of putting his players in position.
But Mike's learning more about what he's got right there. You're talking about a rookie.
Right.
Okay, sure. and the rookie, he's going to have to. Because the kid's catching 10 balls,
right.
And even though they're at 5 yards a catch, that's not. It's just like an outside run,
right?
Yeah.
And to me, when you throw the ball outside to all these real fast things and you gain 5 yards, that's a successful play.
Right.
You're looking at it as a negative play. I'm saying it's 2nd and 5.
Right.
Okay,
I'm looking for one impact play, and he had no impact plays last night.
I agree with you. All I'm saying is I think Mike, the more he feels comfortable with this guy and say, well, what can we do with our offensive scheme? That's what you do as an offensive
Put him in a better position.
You try to utilize him.
Should the Dolphins fans be ripping Jay Cutler? We'll discuss that next.